Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Marky Lidiamos, one of the presenter or one of the discusser of these interesting topics of Chapter 4. So we're part of Chapter 4.1, the social, political, economic, and critical issues in Philippine history. Before that, our topic is all about the Agrarian Law. So ano nga ba ang meron sa Agrarian Law? So before we delve in our discussion, so we just be able to know the objective first. So at the end of this lesson, the student should be able to effectively communicate matters about the origin, coverage, applications, and updates of the comprehensive agrarian reform laws, the Philippines constitutions, and taxations. So, just always remember that Republic Act number 6657, or also known as the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1998, and to be followed the law or the RAs that amended the 7781, 7905, 532, and 9700. Agrarian reform. So, agrarian reform, the term refers to the redistribution, sa proper word is self-redistribution of land to landless farmers and workers, including various support services to improve their um, economic services. So, it means that redistribution of lands, regardless of crops or fruits produced to farmer and regular farm workers who are landless, irrespective of tenurial arrangement, to include the totality of beneficiaries and all other arrangements alternative to the physical redistribution of lands, such as production of profit sharing, labor administration, and the distribution of shares of stocks, which will allow beneficiaries to receive a just share of the fruits of the lands they work. So, nagkakaroon ng equitable or equilibrium part yung mga nagmamay-ari ng lupa. Next one is agrarian. So, agrarian is derived from the Latin word ager or ager, which means a field, and it means also relating to land or the ownership of division of land. On the other hand, reform presupposes something is defective, hence needs reformation and correction. Therefore, agrarian law covers and regulates the rights and relationship over agricultural lands between landowners, tenants, lessees of agricultural workers. So, we proceed the brief history of the agrarian reforms in the Philippines. Merong question dito na ka-indicate is, why is agrarian reform program important to be implemented? Agrarian reform is very significant to the Philippine economy since more than a half of the population is employed in agricultural sector. Agriculture is the main source of livelihood, especially for the developing countries. Next, pre-Spanish era. So, naka-indicate dito is this land is ours. God gave this land to us, rather. So, during that time, the Filipinos of the 15th century must have engaged primarily hunting, fishing, and cultivation. Moreover, in land cultivation, the common method used in the slash and burn method, also known as the kaingin. Before we cultivate our land, no, we should be able to first the kaingin system. So, kaingin system where the land is cleared by burning bushes before planting the crops. So, only in the mountains of northern Luzon where elaborate rice terraces were built some 2,000 years ago in Palawan, where livelihood and social organizations linked to a fixed territory. The lowland peoples live in extended kinship groups known as barangay. Yung mga naninirahan sa mga mababang kalupaan ay tinatawag na barangay, each under the leadership of a datu or chieftain. The barangay, which ordinarily numbered no more than a few hundred individuals, was usually the largest stable economic and political unit. In this community, everyone has access on lands and whatever resources it may have, which must be mutually shared to the villagers. Also within the barangay, the status system, though not rigid, appears to have considered three broad classes. Kung napapansin nyo nga sa pictures is merong nakasaad is first one is nobles, the second one is mahadlika or maharlika or freemen, the third one is the alipin. The three broad classes, it follows the datu and his family and the nobility, yung mga nakakataas. Second one is the freeholders, yung mga manggagawa. And the last one is the mga dependents or what we call as slavery during that Spanish era. Members of the nobility were addressed with the title God of Lakan of the Tagalogs. Yun nga yung mga Pilipino. So this third category consisted of three levels. Meron tatlo which is rather sharecroppers, yung mga nakikihati ng mga product o mga pananim. Depions, yung mga sabi pa nga yung mga hinihiram or inuutang. Next one is war captives, the last two levels being termed slaves. Yun na nga sinasabi na alipin kasi during that day yung mga Spanish, ang mga Pilipino is kawawa because inaalipin ng mga Espanyol. And early Filipinos followed various local religions, a mixture of monotheism and polytheism in which the latter dominated. Si monotheism and polytheism, from the word itself, monotheistic religion, there is only one God. One God lang, yun talaga yung sinasamba nila. While the polytheism is poly, two or more, celebrates multiple gods. The propitiation of spirits required numerous rituals, but there was no obvious religious hierarchy. In religion, in social structure, and economic activity, there was considerable variation between and even within islands. Despite the existence of different classes in the social structure, practically everyone had access to the fruits of the soil. Money was unknown, and rice served as the medium of change. Money is not involved during that Spanish, but the service or the fruit of the service of the Filipino or the workers, they exchange rice for their medium exchange of their service. The concept of stewardship is also practiced during this period because they believe that the relationship of human and nature are important. So, going back the Spanish period land situation, no? During the Spanish era, the relation between landowners and tenants, yung mga nagmamay-ari ng lupa at yung mga tinatawag nating tenants, yung what we call this one is yung na nagbabayad lamang or nangungupahan, yung tinatawag pa natin, was governed by the Civil Code, particularly by the special provisions for rural leases. When the Spaniards came, to the Philippines, the concept of encomienda, what we call is the royal land grants, sila yung mga mayayaman. This system grants that encomenderos must defend his encomienda from external attack, maintain peace and order within, and support the missionaries. In turn, the encomendero acquired the right to collect tribute by Indios or our native. The native families were merely landholders and not landowners. By law, the land assigned to them was the property of the Spanish king, where they paid their colonial tributes to the Spanish authorities in the form of agricultural products they produced. Through the laws of the Indies, the Spanish crown awarded vast tracts of land with the ito na nga, nagkaroon na nga ng batas, no? Whereas one is the friar lands for the religious orders. Second one is repartiamentos of lands granted to the Spanish military as a new reward for their service. And last, encomienda, a large tracts of land given to Spaniards. Yun na nga yung mayamang a royal, or what we call das yung encomienderos is royal land grants, no? To manage and have the right to receive tributes from the native styling. Natives within these areas became more tellers, more king for a share of crops. They did not even have many rights to land. Nagtatrabaho lang sila, pero hindi sila sakto na nahatian ng kanilang share. The system, however, degenerated into abuse of power by the encomenderos. The tribute soon became land rents to a few powerful landlords, and the natives who once cultivated the lands in freedom were transformed into mere share tenants. In the year of 1865, the Spanish crown made a law in 1865 ordering landholders to register land holdings. Only those who were aware of this decrease benefited. Ancestral lands were claimed and registered in other people's names, Spanish officials or local chieftains. As a result, many peasant families were driven out from the lands they have been cultivating for centuries, were forced to become tellers. And the last one is 1896. As more tellers abused, exploited, and deprived of their rights, is nawawalan na sila ng karapatan ang mga farmers na magkaroon ng saktong share ng kanilang pagsiservisyo. And it articulated their aspiration for agrarian reform and for a just society. So, our beloved mga kababayan and also the Spanish, so the Spanish governor made a law to give an equal or equilibrium portion ng mga Pilipino or mga workers na mabigyan ng sapat or equitable na distribution ng lands na nararapat para sa kanila. And so, yun lang po. Maraming salamat.